The first and obvious thing to say is that at 33 and being a grandmother, I mean, I know you've said in the newspapers you get mistaken as the mum rather than the granny. That's obvious, isn't it? But, you know, you're still a very young granny. The habits of that normally attend being a grandmother do not apply to you.
No, they don't. It is pretty strange being say granny. I don't even know what I'm going to be called yet because she doesn't speak, so I don't actually feel like a granny. But I'm sure when she starts speaking, we was thinking about calling me Nanny G instead of Granny.
Nanny G's good.
I think it sounds a bit better.
Have you had any flack from people? I mean, do people say, oh, you know, it's granny, it's knitting, it's you know, old lady stuff? I mean, or just that? I mean, are people happy to your face? I mean, how does it work?
Do you know what? I haven't had nothing bad. Everyone is so supportive at the school. My friends, yeah, I've had so much support, but that's because they know me. So when I have seen things online that's like negative, it goes over my head because they don't know me and they don't know Maisie, and yeah, so it just goes over my head.
Gemma, there are figures today from the Office for National Statistics showing us again that I think the average age at which a woman becomes a mother for the first time is about 30. Can you recommend the experience of having children younger?
I can only go off my experience. So, I mean, the thought of me having my first child at my age seems a bit scary because I suppose I was so young, so I had like the energy and time to do anything, and now I'm sort of like living my sort of adult life, like doing everything that I couldn't do when I was younger, I suppose, and doing it now. So I don't know any different. So it's hard because I don't know any different.
See, the energy thing's a good point, isn't it? I mean, and it applies, I think, almost as much, well, not quite almost as much, but it applies to men and as much, and it applies to women more, that sense of declining energy. You know, I look at men, I'm 53, my youngest is 12, but in your late 40s, kicking the football around in the back garden, you feel it would be easier if you were 25. I mean, parenting requires energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a childminder and I look after a lot of kids a day, so I know that it takes up a lot of energy. And it's nice that, like, I get up in the morning with La Rosa and I can spend that time while my kids are in bed, like just one-on-one with her. And it's just nice to be able to do that.
Gemma, early this week, and we combined it with a story at the weekend from Dorothy Byrne, who's the former head of Channel 4, and she is the head of this Cambridge college, which has set up these seminars. And the seminars are basically saying to the students there, you are going to face massive pressures as a young woman to achieve after university. You'll move around for work. You may go abroad. You know, all the stuff that young people do and are encouraged to do once they enter the rat race. And she's saying quite simply, just don't forget the graphs. Don't forget the graphs that show that at 25, I think you've got a 25% chance of conceiving in a month. By the time you're 40, it's down to 1 or 2%. And she's saying to the young students in her class, just look at those graphs and just remember that you're going to have to make choices maybe sooner than you wanted to.
Oh, I'd feel like that's so much pressure on women for that to happen. Like, I would never have said to Maisie, you know, you need to go and have a baby now. It happened and it is what it is. And you can't plan what happens for anyone's life. And it's not something, you know, that I wanted her to have her childhood taken away. But I think it's different for everyone. She's literally such an amazing mum. Like, she's literally the best mum. And it's just come natural to her. And I think that when it's forced on someone, it might not come natural. Like, you can't force something like that.
Do you think it's easier, Gemma? Do you think it's easier when you're younger in the sense that you haven't developed all the habits, the hobbies that you start to as you get older? When you're younger, you know, if you're 16, the idea of giving over your life, and that's what, you know, parenting involves for the first few months and years, that stretch, doesn't it, when you're deep in the trenches of parenting, that it maybe becomes easier when you haven't sort of become a fully rounded person.
Yeah, I mean, I know like 17-year-olds that I would look at, and I know that they wouldn't be okay to like have a baby. They wouldn't. It just wouldn't come naturally. Like they'd be too young, I suppose. But when I look at Maisie, like I just don't. She's not like that. It just comes to her like naturally.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.